Hi everybody. Today we are on episode 7 and this is my cat Salem, right? He's gonna help me today. It's a little bright. I was hoping for a cloudy day, but the sun came out anyway. And I would wait till tonight. Oops, he's a little spooked because someone's cutting the lawn in the background. Ooh. We might need some sound effects. What do you think? I think so. I'm going to let you go down. Hello. I hope you're ready for episode 7. Did you like episode 6 and part 2, 3 with my water scrying tutorial? Now I know some of you have asked me if I would do a live water scrying tutorial. I might do that later, or I'm going to see. Well, not live, basically record it, but do it here. I'm also going to try to do it live now. So that's what I did on episode 6. Now, it is still pretty light. The sun is in and out, but I still tried to make it spooky. So, let me see. So on this episode, we're going to discuss unexplained things, unexplained events, unexplained happenings. So that's what I'm going to do on this episode. And it's partly cloudy and the sun is going in and out. It always works better when it's darker in here, but I gotta record when I can. So thanks for all that have been watching and commenting and liking. I appreciate that. Remember, you could always ask me any questions in the comment section below this video, as well as just say hi or share your experiences. Yeah, okay? And keep in mind, I'm going to try to do a live. I'll probably do some testing after this episode to see, and maybe I'll do episode 8 live. Okay? There's a lot of things that I have to figure out before that. So we're going to get started. So you can see my co-host Mr. Bones over there, and I tried to keep it spooky for you. So now you're going to want to turn down the lights, light some candles, get into something comfy, pour yourself a drink, get some snacks, bring in the cat, bring in the dog, and get cozy and get ready for more of my paranormal vlogs, Growing Up Paranormal, episode 7, Unexplained. Okay, so now one of the first things that happened to me in the unexplained things were, we'll start with something a little more recent, rather than going all the way back to my childhood. This happened, I guess, last year, and it might have been in the winter months. I mean, it was a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, something like that. Now, the person that used to live upstairs had moved out, then other 2 people moved in, then so on and so forth. But at this point, the first person that lived here was away for like 2-3 weeks. This was in the winter. So it's very peaceful where I live. It's in the back. There's woods. There's a pond. There's not many noisy people here. So at night, the only thing you hear are crickets, the frogs, just coyotes, wild animals. So as we were sleeping, my husband's a sound sleeper. I mean, I could drop a bomb and he probably wouldn't have woken up, but it takes a lot to get him up. Me, I'm a light sleeper. I sleep on the surface. It takes me a while to fall asleep. My husband takes 2 seconds to fall asleep. So I'm a light sleeper, he's a heavy sleeper. So now my cat Rudy that you saw in one of my episodes, probably episode 1, not Salem. Salem does his own thing. In fact, right now I think he went into his bedroom. Salem tends to do his own. Oh, actually, he's in the window looking out. It's a beautiful fall day. So he likes to. My cats have a room. Yes, you can see many videos with my cats, and they have their own room with tons of toys. And maybe my cat Salem will come back here. He might want to go in his room. Do you want to go in your room? I have his door shut, otherwise it'd be way too bright. So, back to the story. So it was nighttime, and we were sleeping, and my cat Rudy likes to sleep with me. I mean, you have to spoon him, literally. If I turn around to face my husband, he'll start meowing and carrying on and try to climb up on my pillow or try to go by my feet to nudge in the middle. He doesn't like me facing my husband or cuddling with my husband. He wants me to face with him and cuddle. And you gotta spoon, you gotta hold him. He's crazy. And then he leans his head back and he looks up. He's very loving, very affectionate. Salem is young and just wants to do something. Just at night, you don't really see much of him. He's either terrorizing the house by breaking something or getting into things, or he's in his room, sleeping on his tree house. And they have a beautiful view of the pond. They're directly in front of the pond, so they can see all the animals that come out at night and all the stray cats. So they really like it. Rudy, though, wants to be with me 24/7. But right now he's sleeping in his room. So he would be sleeping with me all cuddly, and I woke up, but I didn't like sit up or, I mean, I just woke up hearing like a voice in the, like, it might have been like 1 or 2 in the morning. And I woke up and I heard this voice. And at first I heard beeps or tones. And then I heard a loud voice go, downloading program into subject. And I thought he said downloading Mandela program into subject. And I don't know if any of you know what the Mandela effect is. If you do not, go look it up now. There's plenty of videos all over YouTube, all over, and there's plenty of articles on that. So, but by now most of you should know what the Mandela effect is and should be affected by the Mandela effect, because I know pretty much all of us, except for people that don't know what's going on, people that are still asleep in their world. They don't notice anything. Anyway, I thought he said, now downloading program, Mandela program into subject. Or at least it sounded like Mandela. And I'm like, what the? And just at that moment, I sat up, and my cat Rudy, like 2 seconds before me, went like this, and he heard it, and he sat up. So we both heard that voice, and I was like, what the? Now keep in mind, nobody's upstairs, it's peaceful. Everyone's asleep around here. I was like, what was that? So I sat up for a minute, I laid back down, my cat laid back down. Keep in mind, I wasn't sleeping. When I had woken up, I was woken up by a series of beeps and tones. That's what woke me up, and I was kind of just like laying there with my eyes slightly relaxed, you know, when you're up but you're in bed and you're cozy and comfy and tired, you just want to lay there. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? And it didn't sound like when spirits talk. Now the spirits tend to leave me alone when I'm sleeping at night. It was an agreement I made with spirits and entities of all kinds. I said, look, you want to talk to me when I'm awake or in the morning when there's daylight or something like that, that is fine. At nighttime, when it's dark and I'm sleeping and I'm in bed, do not come to me and wake me up. It'll just scare me. It'll startle me and it'll wake me up. And it takes me a long time to get to sleep. Just one. So, what happened was, so I laid right back down after I heard that. Like I was just half sitting up a little, not like totally bolted up, just like half. And then I relaxed and my cat relaxed and I was just getting comfy, hoping to fall asleep again. When then I heard the voice say, "Subject heard me. Subject's awake. How can this happen?" Or something to that effect. The subject knows. And then I heard another voice say, "Abort programming. Abort programming on subject." And now these voices sounded like human voices. They sounded like military. Now I know you all heard of gang stalking and what they do, but I don't know. I mean, why would they do that? Maybe they're doing that to all of us with the Mandela effect, for all I know. I know I get information from spirits and interdimensional beings, entities. They tell me things that are going on that some I will share with you, but some I won't, because I don't get into all those things here, because I know that it's a touchy, basically nobody wants you to talk about these things, so I won't be sharing too much of that. You never know. That's not what's going on. But I was just like, that doesn't sound like regular spirit. They come in differently. Like regular everyday spirits, like people that were human that passed, come in one way. They sound a certain way. Interdimensional beings sound a whole other way. And other entities sound another way. So I heard all this noise with these voices, and then I'm like, I sat up again, my cat sat up again, and we were looking around the room. My cat Rudy was looking, and the voices did sound shocked and surprised that I was awake and I heard them. Like, subject's awake, subject's awake. Subject knows. So I was called a subject. That's why it sounded military to me, but it was clear and human voices. That's what I felt. I could be wrong. And I was like, who is trying, and I did. I said, who is trying to program me? Don't upload anything into my head without my permission, So I tried to lay there and go back to sleep. And then I waited, because I didn't want them to wait, because I think when you're asleep, maybe that's when they get you, try to program you. So I waited, and then after a while, I fell asleep. Then I was woken up by these beeps, a series of beeps and tones again. So now I was like, and my cat heard it too, because he was the first one up. He was like this, looking all around. So I didn't know what that was, but I decided to get up. I had to use the bathroom. And I was just like, whoever's doing that, cut that out, So then I waited a while, and then I went back to bed, because it was like maybe 4 a.m. So I wasn't about to stay up. But it took me a while, and then my cat came back into bed with me, and we fell asleep, and that was it for the night. So I don't know what that was, who that was, or why they were doing that. I just don't know. And I just wondered, did anybody out there ever have an experience like that with saying something similar? So apparently I was getting an upload or a download or something of that effect into me, and I'm considered a subject. So that wasn't the only night I heard beeps and tones. I sometimes hear beeps and tones, or I'm woken up. Sometimes I can hear it when I'm awake, but a lot of times it's when I'm sleeping and then it wakes me up. Or when I'm just laying there trying to fall asleep, whatever it is waits for you to be in that relaxed state when you're trying to sleep. And so sometimes you catch it when you're waking up or kind of drifting off, but you're not dreaming. Another unexplained thing is sometimes you hear, like when I'm sleeping or something, or I'm falling asleep, you'll hear like a loud bang, and then that'll wake me up. It's a strange thing. I don't know what that is, and that happens every now and then too, like a bang, like something. I don't know what that. Maybe that your body crashes back. Your soul or spirit or your consciousness crashes back into your body, and then it causes that. I don't know. So that's unexplained. I don't know if you've had any of those experiences at all, but I know I have. So I don't know what all the beeps and tones. I don't know what those voices were. I just thought that was really odd. And I went to a few forums and asked them, and they're like, "Oh, you're getting gang stalked. That's the military," right off the bat, without. But maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Oh, it's getting dark. It's very spooky in here. So I'm really not sure, what that was or what's going on. All I know is that it kind of is freaky when you're sleeping and somebody's trying to program you, or the thought of that. Oh, so I'm going to show you my new candelabra that I got. See? That's my new candelabra. Where am I? Okay. So that was the one thing I wanted to tell you all about the unexplainable voices and beeps and tones. I think the sun's coming back out again. The other thing was, now back to when I was little, and if you watched my other episodes, you'll know about the big 5-floor house I grew up in, and we had this old doll. Remember the episode, I think that was episode 2, the dolls. Well, on that episode, I talked about the dolls talking and whispering and moving. And anyway, this one particular doll used to be like my older sister's, and like from the 50s. And then it was my second older sister's, then my third, then it came to me. And the doll was a popular doll. The doll was a popular doll, I suppose, in the 50s. The name was Thumbelina. Supposedly it would suck its thumb. It had a hole in the mouth, and the hand was like this. So you could put the thumb in the mouth, and it would do this thumb sucking thing. And it had a big wind up, because back then they didn't have I guess in the early 50s or the 50s somewhere, they didn't have like too many battery operated toys. I mean, they did, but it was mostly mechanical. So what it worked on was this big wooden dial in the back. I mean, the dial was this big, and you would wind it and as it was unwinding, so the doll, you would put the thumb in and it would do this thing with its mouth, and the head would move like this, because of the gears. I guess it would make it look like it's alive. It had a baby face with some weird hair they used in the 50s for dolls. And it had the chubby cheeks. So the doll name was Thumbelina. Now this doll hadn't worked in years. I remember once that maybe I overwound it, because just like a watch, if you overwind it, it won't work. For people who remember analog watches that you actually wound up. Not, the digital battery ones. So this doll was just weird. It didn't work forever. And I was still little, and I liked the doll and everything. I don't know if it really did the moving of the face, the whisper. It seemed like the dolls that were were, see, because this half had a soft body, and then, like I said, there were a few dolls that were safe. Like if the doll was completely made out of porcelain or plastic, then it would do that. But if it had like, or whatever they used, but if it had like just a regular head made out of doll material, and then the body was like soft, you know, like it was material stuffed with stuffing, that's what the body was like. And then it had the hands on it, the feet, and the head, but and the neck, you know, the neck with the head. But the rest of the body wasn't a doll's body, if you know what I mean, I think. So I think that was safe. Now the doll used to be able to sit it up, so I sat it on my bed, in the middle of the bed by a pillow one time, and it was just sitting there. And I remember it hadn't worked in years. My father looked at it, my mother looked at it, I think my brother-in-law looked at it, or at the time he was my sister's boyfriend. Nobody can get that thing to work. And they're like, it's old, what do you want? You know, maybe the gear is broke inside, because it was all mechanical, works on gears and winds up, you know. So one day, it was in the day, we had a horrific thunderstorm. I mean, it was crazy. It came out of the blue. It was a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden it got really windy and dark as anything, and then these loud thunder, I mean, very loud thunder, lightning, and all of a sudden I remember I'm sitting on my bed in my room, because I'm just looking at the window like, wow, because I had one window here and another window here, like you know, kind of like a corner, and then you had the corner of the wall. So I was just sitting on my bed, which was on that side, looking at my windows, at the storm and the wind blowing and everything, and this big crack of lightning, and then you hit thunder, and then it was a very big electrical storm, let's say. So maybe that triggered, I don't know, because this doll wasn't really electrical, it was mechanical, but maybe because it had metal parts, I don't know if that had any effect on it. All I know was, I'm sitting there and I thought I heard like the gears moving, and I look and I see the doll fumbling. Now I didn't always keep the thumb in the mouth, I had, you know, hands were just like this, and it was just moving and moving, and I'm like, what? I mean, I was like, what's going on? The doll's moving. And you just see the head going, you can hear the gears. It wasn't like really loud, but it wasn't quiet. You can hear it. So I remember running downstairs saying, Mom, Mom, and telling everybody that, you know, the doll was moving, and hadn't worked in years, and like, come into the room, and it was doing that. And they're like, oh, well, my father's like, well, maybe, did it fall? Did you move it? Or I don't know. They were trying to think of a good explanation, but there was none, because it was unexplained. So that was something that never was explained again. And I don't remember, I think it worked for a few times after that, but then went back to, so I'm not really sure what happened with that doll. And then after that, I think I gave those, like, my nieces were younger, so they took all my dolls and stuffed animals, you know, they dispersed as I got older. Then they took over everything. So yeah, that was really unexplained, and I just don't know what was going on with that doll and moving with the thunderstorm. Did the thunderstorm create it? Was it an electrical effect of some sort? I know it kind of spooked me and it freaked me out, because the sky was like almost green, like it was daylight. It was like afternoon, early afternoon, and I remember like it got really dark and the sky became green, and it just, you know, one of those freaky thunderstorms. So yeah, that was pretty strange. So yeah, those were my unexplained events where I just couldn't figure out why the doll was moving, what those tones and beeping sounds were, where they're coming from, where were those two military sounding voices, who were they trying to I mean, obviously it was me, but they seemed genuinely surprised and shocked that I heard them, that I caught them, and they didn't know what to do but to abort their programming mission. So yeah, that's my stories of the unexplained. And I'm going to do another story, maybe episode 8, I don't know. I might even just do some water scrying and then include the pictures, if any, that I got. So now, if you didn't watch episode 6, go watch all of them in episode 6. Don't skip. And check out part 2 and 3 where I add some pictures, because I did more water scrying the other day. And then I went and uploaded them, and then I looked to see if I found anything, and then I waited and looked again, because like I said in episode 6, sometimes when you take those pictures, you don't see them at first when you go through them. So take your time, and you might have to rotate the picture a few times. They're not going to be directly facing you. And sometimes what happens is you get a few of them. So you're going to get 5 sets of eyes or 3 sets of eyes. It's because everybody wants to cram into the bowl to take a picture. And sometimes you get really good quality pictures as if it's a photograph, and other times not the best, but you can see it's an entity. And I get animals as well. So yes, not just spirits, but animals, and also interdimensional beings. So yeah, they all come in. They're all in the pot that I have. I use a pot. Maybe one of these days I'll get a scrying roll. A nice one. I want to get a really nice one at a soapstone. But you know, the metal pot works great. So if you don't want to spend the money and you want to do it and don't want to wait, and if you have that kind of pot, a black pot, and it's smooth inside, no scratches, no bevels, no spots, then go ahead and do it. The whole tutorial's there. Listen to the whole thing. Don't skip around, because I step by step tell you what I do. That's why I didn't have time to do it on the camera. I wanted you to do it, listen to me first to tell you what to do, protect yourself, and all that. Now, also to be sure to look at your pictures thoroughly. Remember, examine each and every one of them. And then, you know what, if you don't see it at first, before you do anything, wait a while and go back again. Anyway, I explained that whole thing, so it's on episode 6. No need to explain it all over again. But I am going to do more one day. And I also have lots of EVP recordings, but I call them conversations, because I'm not out there like ghost hunters with all these equipment. They're there regardless, no matter where I live, where I go, what time of day it is, what time of night. They're there, and I will get the voices. So I don't need to do that. I'll have to go to a haunted place specifically. I just do the same kind of rituals I would do for my water scrying. You know, do the protection, smudge the house, say prayer of protection, tell them firmly, you know, who I will allow and give permission to speak with me and who I don't. Then I open the portal of communication, and then I ask for who I want, and I speak with them. And then, you know, I might say, oh, all right, any good positive spirits need to say anything? Tell me now. Any good positive entities, any good positive interdimensional beings? And then I may have specific questions for all of them, and then I'll ask them, and some will answer, some won't. So, and I have some good ones. So I'll probably try to do that on the next episode, and I'll try to upload my best ones that are loud enough for you to hear. I mean, because it is on here. So the best thing you should do for that episode is have some headphones, okay? Don't listen to it on your phone. Use a computer, laptop, maybe a tablet, desktop. And it's better to have the headphones ready so that when I play them, you can put them on and hear them better. I'd like to put my lower ones on, but they're almost impossible. unless you put it in Audacity and raise the volume up and have your headphones. So, but I'll see what I can do, and I'll try to get more. And then maybe one day I'll do spirit communication online. Maybe I'll record it, maybe I'll do it live. So I hope you like this episode of the unexplained things, or unexplained events and happenings. I'm sure you all have those things, but you can't explain it. So, well, thanks for watching. This has been episode 7. Don't forget to watch all my other episodes in the series of my paranormal vlogs, Growing Up Paranormal. So I will see you on my next episode, which might even be live. Bye.